Well, let's get our acceleration here with the RST. Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video, we're gonna be going over a 2021 Chevy 1500 RST. But first and foremost, a huge shout out and thank you to the Larry H. Miller Chevy here in Provo for giving me some time with this RST. Check out their inventory in the link below. Let's get straight into the video. Under the hood of the RST, we have a naturally aspirated 5.3 liter V8 that goes through an 8-speed automatic transmission, fuel economy 16 around town, and then 22 on the highway, with power outputs being 355 horsepower and then 383 pound-feet of torque. Let's go over the front end of the RST. So first and foremost, you've got Chevy's signature hood with the bulge right there in the middle portion, and then you've got these full LED lights with the little LED accent light that comes just down below. I love the venting here on the side with the Chevy, and then you've got the blacked out bow tie. Notice that the bumpers and everything is all body colored or blacked out. That's part of this RST package. You've got parking sensors along the front with the fog lights there at the bottom, and then you've got your blacked out tow hooks as well. But other than that, that is everything for the front end. Go over the side here. So we've got two 75mm tires on 20-inch wheels in the front and over in the rear here on the RST. As for the design on the wheels, notice that they do the silver with kind of like the dark gray there in the center. It's a really cool design. It almost looks like a flower in a way. Now this truck does have the Z71 package, so here's a look at the front, and then you do have your Z71 badge there on the side, and then you got the mirrors. You got the black at the top there, and then you can see that actually contrasts very nicely with the rest of the truck. But here's your full side view on the RST. Over the bed of the RST, so you can see you've got the plastic covering here on the bed with the liner for the rest of the bed. You've got these LED bed lights here in the rear as well, with the little outlet here on the back portion. If you guys are wondering, payload capacity on this is about 1,800 pounds. Let's go over the rear of the RST. You guys can see that you've got the LED lights here in the back, and then you've got the blacked out Chevrolet logo with your Silverado RST badges there on the back. Parking sensors all along the rear with these squished exhaust tips, and then you do have these bumper steps, which obviously make getting into the bed of the truck a lot easier. Got the receiver hitch down below. Towing capacity with this truck is about 9,400 pounds, and that's all for the rear. Now here's a door panel on the rear of the RST. So you've got soft touch all along here with the wood trim just down below, and then you've got a little tubular door handle in that little area. And then here are the seats. You've got soft touch over the whole portion of the seat with the stitching, and then you do have a little storage compartment just right there on that portion of the seat, and then soft touch just down below as well. And then if we pick up the seat, you guys can see extra storage just underneath. But let's actually pop in and get out of the wind because it is absolutely freezing. If you guys are wearing, I'm 5'11", got a good amount of headroom, tons of legroom, and then you guys can see you've got the USBs with the little 12 volts, a couple cup holders here at the top portion, and then this pulls down to be some more cup holders. So other than that, that's the back of the RST. Now let's go over the door panel here at the front of the RST, so you guys can see more of that soft touch with the stitching all across and the wood trim just down below. All of your window controls here in this little area, and then you've got your mirror adjustments with your door lock and unlock and the tubular door handle. You've got the speaker for the Bose sound system, and then here are the seats at the front. So again, soft touch for the whole seat. You got really nice bolsters here, power adjustments on the side of the seat, and then you guys can see you've got the pedal layout just down below. You've got the little hood latch release, and then you got your parking brake right here, light controls just up above. You got your fog lights, your cargo light, your drive line sight. So you've got your auto, your two-wheel high, your four-wheel high, and then your four-wheel low. And then over here you've got your trailer brake control, or sorry, not trailer brake control. You've got your trailer tow mode, and then your drive mode on the other side. This cold and this wind is making my brain all foggy, but let's actually pop in. Let's go over the steering wheel here for the 1500 RST. You guys can see you've got soft touch all around the steering wheel with the black stitching there in the center. You've got your voice commands right here with your phone controls. Controls for the center stack in that little area. You got your heated steering wheel button, which I'm gonna probably turn that on because I am dying right now. Cruise control right next to it, and then you guys can see you've got radio controls on the back of the steering wheel. And then this does come with the column shifter. You can shift the gears yourself with the plus and minus button with that. And then over here you've got little stock for the turn signal and then the windshield wipers as well. And other than that, that is the steering wheel in the RST. Now here is the center stack. So you guys can see that you've got analog gauges for most of the setup, and then you do have that little screen right there in the center, which just gives you different bits of information on the vehicle itself. So you got like your home page right there, you've got vehicle information, your music, navigation, your phone controls, and then you've got the settings as well. So nothing too crazy, pretty standard setup. Now here is the center infotainment system. You guys can see response time on this infotainment system is really solid, and the cool thing about it is actually the camera aspect of it. So you guys can see that you've got a backup camera, but then you also have a cargo camera, which you can zoom in with that, and then you guys can see you've got the zoom in function with that little camera. But yeah, overall the camera system is really solid, makes parking this truck really easy. And then as for the rest of the infotainment system, it's got Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, and I feel like this is like the most responsive infotainment system in the truck segment right now. Now just down below, we've got analog controls for the radio, and then you've got analog climate controls just down below that little area with the heated seat controls, where you can do the whole seat, which I have right now because it's really cold outside, or you can just do the top portion of the seat. And then you have a bunch of controls here in this little area. So you've got your hill descent control, that's for the power outlets, that's the stability control, that's the hazard lights. This is to actually raise or lower the tailgate. Your auto stop start, your parking sensors, trailer brake controls are integrated right there. And then you can see this for the little USB, got a 12 volt inside of there, and then you've got a power outlet as well. But that's kind of like the whole center control area. Now here you guys can see that we've got some storage right here. We've got my microphone because it decided to freak out in today's video. And then we've got the center console here, which you can see storage space is pretty good. Got some USBs inside of it. And then over here we've got the dual glove box, decent amount of storage. And then notice that you've got all the soft touch and stitching on that little portion. And then finally finishing things up top, yes, we do have a power sliding window here for the rear, universal garage door openers, and they do kind of like a darker gray headliner here for the top portion of the RST. Well, now that we're done going to the interior on the RST, let's quickly get into the pricing. So in terms of pricing, this RST stickers for about $56,000 before any type of market adjustment. That all being said, let's take the RST out and see how it drives. Well, let's talk about visibility throughout the Chevy before we start off. You guys can see visibility over the hood. There's your visibility through both of the mirrors. And then here's all throughout the rest of the rear of the Chevy. So as you guys can see, visibility is really solid. And that all being said, let's set off. Well, we are setting off here in the 2021 Chevy 1500 RST. And first and foremost, let's talk about the road noise and the ride quality. So from a ride quality perspective, it definitely does ride a little bit on the rougher side, but this does have that Z71 package. And so I think that that package definitely makes this ride a little bit rougher compared to a regular Silverado. I've driven them back to back and I can perceive a difference. In terms of the noise though, it's super windy today, but there's not a whole lot of noise that comes through the cabin. Yeah, going over stuff definitely upsets it a little bit more compared to the F-150 and compared to the Ram 1500. There is definitely a perceivable difference with this truck. We'll see how the brakes are coming up to here. Yeah, so braking is really solid here with the Chevy, not an issue at all, and we'll see how it handles around this as well. Yeah, all these trucks feel about the same from a handling perspective. They all handle about the same. They all feel about the same size, which, I mean, they are all about the same size, but yeah, the handling really feels similar between all of the trucks. The one thing I will mention is the steering does feel a little bit more, there's a little bit more effort that has to be put into the steering with the Chevy compared to the Ford and compared to the Ram. I definitely do notice that with the truck, so I guess that's something to take into consideration. Well, let's get our acceleration here with the RST. So definitely have to get into this 5.3 a lot more compared to the Ford's 3.5 and then Ram's 5.7 Hemi. Obviously you can get the 6.2 liter V8, which you guys know I absolutely love. This one does have the 5.3, so obviously we've got to compare with what we are given in today's video. The acceleration is okay with the 5.3. It's just definitely lacking compared to the Ram and compared to the Ford. However, this engine is extremely reliable, very well tested. So you give up a little bit of power for really good reliability. And that'll actually get me into summing things up with this Chevy 1500 RST. Obviously, we'll make some comparisons to the other two trucks as well. So from the ride quality perspective, definitely rougher than the other two trucks, but again, I feel like that's due in part to the Z71 package. A regular truck that doesn't have the Z71 package does ride smoother. And then in terms of the insulation in the cabin and all that, really good. Definitely about the same as the other two trucks from that perspective. The steering does feel a little bit heavier. I think the wheel is actually a little bit smaller here on the Chevy, so it definitely has a little bit of a different feel from a steering perspective. And then in terms of the rest of the driving, the acceleration is pretty decent on the Chevy, but obviously it's slower than the Ram and the Ford as well. The gear shifts are pretty decent, but overall still a really good practical truck. The towing capacity is about the same as the Ford. The payload's more than the other two trucks, and so it's still a really good practical truck. It's just a little bit on the slower side, but again, Chevy offers a 6.2 V8, so if you want a faster truck, just get the 6.2 V8. That is going to sum things up with our video on this 2021 Chevy 1500 RST. And again, a huge shout out and thank you to the Larry H. Miller Chevy here in Provo for giving me some time with this RST. Check out their inventory in the link below. I'll see all of you in that next video.